It also just immediately means that when you finally find a stored up... Oh, looks like we're off.
Yep. There we go. And yep, looks like we have a little bit of a delay here in strizer getting started, but Synth is going to be waiting it out to start here. And it looks like they are actually going to sync up pretty well even with that small bait. So that's pretty good. And we just got a big 20 starting out here in Uncle's house. So as is the case with all of the runs you'll see during this tournament, we're playing standard mode for the randomizer this time. And that means we're going to have the traditional game start. When you go outside in the rain, go over to the magical floating bush here, and drop on down to go see your uncle to get your first weapon. And it's bombs.
Oh man. So this is actually both a good and a bad thing. If they hold on to one, they won't have to worry about finding bombs to get into the back of escape. So downside is actually using bombs is a little bit more challenging than pretty much any of the other weapon options.
Of course, we're going to see these guys make their way over here to walk right into castle. Going to make their way downstairs so they can go rescue Zelda. And this is where the first kind of tricky challenge is going to be. You're going to have to use those bombs to kill that blue guard so that he drops the key.
Hopefully it'll be pretty cooperative, not decide to run all over the place.
And yeah, chat pointing out here, bombing the key rat is no fun. They're going to have to do that. Unless they find a sword or some other thing here. Very nice strategy there to use the chest as kind of a pick to get the blue soldier into position for the bomb.
Yep, just getting them nice and stuck, and they're not going to avoid the bomb. They're just going to stand there trying to get you.
So they'll be able to do that for the next blue guard that they have to kill, which is going to be coming up here in a room with a chest. But this green guard coming up, he's only going to take one bomb, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult. There's not really any place where they can kind of trap him at. He's going to be wandering around. Oh, actually, maybe they're going to try. You see Strizer's trying to get him to follow up the stairs, or at least just to stay put, and nicely done, both of them.
Unfortunately, the latter cutscene's not operating like opening a chest. There are quite a few different things in the game that a bomb will continue to count down while it's happening. Doesn't appear ladders are the same way though.
We do have a double key here, so that is a nice find. That means there's going to be some stuff in these chests coming up here. I still think we haven't seen the map, and that's the other item that is just going to be kind of a dungeon item, I guess you could say.
All right, yeah. Since going with the chucking 2 pods at the ball and chain guard, doesn't want to keep as many bombs as possible in case the rat's uncooperative.
Yeah, it's a lot easier too because you can line that up real simple. And there's the map, so everything in the sewers and escape here is potentially going to be a helpful item, or just more big 20s.
It's always more big 20s. All right, so one of the one of the good things about a change they made relatively early in standard randomized weapons is that now that they've got Zelda following them, if they're to run out of bombs, they can actually reset to depends on whether they reach a throne room or not. They're going to reach a throne room. There's no reason not to reach it. They'll be able to reset here if they do run out of bombs, rather than having to reset the seed from the beginning, and it will provide them with a small number to continue on. Yes, big 20s are useful early on. It's just a case that there's so many of them in the game that you do kind of get tired of seeing them after a little bit.
Yeah, the thing is, there's so many of them in the game because one of the things that gets randomized, obviously, is all of the non-essential items to all get randomized. And there's a sword, by the way, hanging out in escape, so that's going to be extremely helpful.
Yep, means that they're not going to have to chuck bombs at the rat. They're just going to get to cut the rat.
And that is much easier here. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, red meringue, blue meringue. So both of the boomerangs hiding out in escape. Wow, that's...
They have all of the Gibdo stopping
trolly
power now.
Yeah, that is very trolly.
If they want, they can take this opportunity to find out what the stun prize is, though. There's plenty of enemies that have the boomerang effects, and it could be something particularly useful that they want to know about for later in the run.
Indeed. Could be anything from rupees, which they could need for trying to bank those later on. Could be hearts, which is always helpful. Even something rare like having fairy drops is very nice.
Fairy drops on stun prize basically just says you can't die to anything except bosses.
It's always one of my favorite things to run into on a stun prize. And just a single lone green rupee. Well, at least they're getting most of the trolley stuff out of the way to start with. Oh, and we got some rupees here on the tree pole.
Ooh, cutting the hoarder crab is instead of taking its bush away. Didn't see what that was on Agile Edge, but we'll get another check.
We'll have a chance here. Oh, and that is a nice find down the hoarder there. It's going to be a full magic refill.
Agile Edge was...
Oops,
sorry. Okay, yeah, it was just a heart.
Yeah, just a full heart. And Strizer making his way right here through the usual Lost Woods route after you go check Lumberjack Ledge. Get to see that 5-arrow upgrade hanging out on the cave. And what is to the left here? Just a little bit of love.
Much easier to get than the Aga Heart, so you can take it. Going to head up and around through here. Unfortunately, getting the homeless guard.
It's actually kind of interesting to see Strizer taking this path to get out of Lost Woods, which makes me think that he's going to be checking the well to start with on his Kakariko run.
Yeah, and unfortunately that thief...
Yeah, usually you see... yeah, he's going to go down the well here. Usually you see people going to blind. I think Synth might be going to blind, so we'll get to see a little bit of the difference here.
Yeah, Strizer's hoping for some bombs here because that thief made off with most of his.
Yeah, he's got none right now. He just used his last one on the door there. Just a little Fisher Price shield as a bomb upgrade and a red bottle, which will be very nice. I'll let him check Sick Kid while they're already here.
Meanwhile, in Blind's basement. Of course, the shovel's down here. They might opt to check that once they go down near Race the race. Yeah, I guess the race game.
Yeah, I would think that probably is a good idea since you've already got the shovel this early and it's essentially on the way for your routing. Normally, a lot of people will save and quit after checking the maze race over there just to get over back to Link's house. But I think since you've already got the shovel, you may as well spend the extra couple of seconds to go over and check that. Just get that out of your mind right now.
It's also convenient if you happen to find the power glove on the way, as you can just lift that large rock and head down to the dam from there. Unfortunately, haven't found that yet, though, so...
Yeah, the seed is being a little less than forthcoming on some of the progression and value items.
I was talking to the merchant almost one after another. Strides are going back into...
Interesting.
Picking up some more rupees in here.
Yeah, I think that was just the play. Just to farm up a few more rupees.
Think he wants to buy some more bombs before leaving Kakariko for the South Shore stuff.
Can't say I blame him. That probably is a good idea. We're gonna get our sick kid check here, and Synth is heading up there to see what our poor young child has, and it's bombs. Oh, saving himself a little bit of money.
I'm not gonna ask why a kid has those, but we'll take them just for safety reasons.
That's validation arrow? Oh my gosh.
I mean, it can be used as an arrow. I think it's actually like a kebab skewer. You found it in the tavern, so.
So this seed is being so trolly early for these guys. I feel so bad for them. Now, just watch something of like extreme value is going to be right up here on library. Nope, actually, you know, I thought it's not going to be the full troll. I thought maybe they would boots lock something. You know, the rando would boots lock something up there that would make it a pain for them to get it. And just another big 20. Wow.
See, give us something. I think it wants us to go like Eastern or something. We've only got South Shore and Eastern once we're done this.
Yeah. I think it's trying to shove them toward doing that shovel spot.
So I think this is like the first time that I've ever seen Kakariko done with technically no real progression.
Oh yeah, there's the mirror. Oh my goodness, that's a nice find.
Great to have later. Still, it only saves a little bit of time at the dam right now.
Yeah, I mean it'll save having to go back in and out. You can just use the mirror block deletion glitch here. It'll just make it easy enough to do in one trip. That's our first real progression item at this point. I don't think we've even got a check of the pendant and crystal situation yet. I don't think we've seen anybody go ahead and hit that button, bring up the map.
All right, let's see what our soggy item for the day is.
Come on, big 20. Come on, big 20. Oh, hammer.
Hammer. That's decidedly more useful.
Okay, we're starting to get that progression now. We got hammer and mirror, so we don't quite have Dark World access yet. Obviously, we've still got to find the Moon Pearl, and we would need a lift upgrade to be able to get to most of the locations that are locked behind hammers still.
Mini Moldorm being pretty cooperative for Synth. And we have... well, silver arrows and some general...
Yep.
General pickups.
Not too bad there. First four things were kind of like, yeah, and you get that silver, and you're like, oh, okay. That's just always nice to see, because at least you know that you're not going to have a silverless run this time, and that's always a little bit of a sigh of relief. You don't have to do that when you get to Ganon. And plus, that's going to be helpful for some of these boss fights, depending on which ones they have to do. A lot of them get made a little bit shorter because of silvers.
Alright, so they can both check Ice Rod Cave. I'm curious to see if we'll get any fake flippering afterwards. They don't have the Moon Pearl, so they can't check the Waterfall Cave with it. But they do... There's a lift upgrade.
Yep, so that's Dark World access, just not Dark World non-bunny mode. So they're going to need that Moon Pearl. It's probably going to be hiding in one of the dungeons for them. So yep, there's no... The Aga Dream is pretty much dead at this point, dead and buried.
Yeah, the Hammer and Power Glove combination gives you access to both sides of the Dark World, so...
Though I'm not sure on this. I don't think you can use the hammer when you're in bunny form.
You cannot. You still actually need to be...
So there is tiny... For those of you hoping for a Agassiz, there's a tiny sliver of hope. And that would be if the ledge item on Pyramid is the Moon Pearl. Because theoretically, that would be the only way you could... actually, maybe not. No, you could go through Eastern for that, so yeah, it's pretty much dead.
I think it's far more likely that they're going to end up finding it, but it is a tiny, tiny chance.
See, in fact, there it is right there. So yeah, that is... Now it's dead. Now Aga's dead. He'll get some rest up for his big fight. Strizer got his bottle in the well, so they should both have a bottle.
Yeah, Synth has a bottle. Strizer also has the glove, since of that Ice Rod.
So there we get our first real clear check, and we've got a red crystal at Desert Palace, and Eastern and Hera both have regular crystals. And as someone who runs, I always like seeing that combination. It means that you've got 3 Dark World dungeons that are pendants, and therefore you don't have to spend your time digging through them. They're considerably longer.
The only Dark World dungeon I don't like seeing as a pendant is Thieves Town, because it's so convenient to go into. Having it be a pendant is kind of unfortunate.
And Green Pendant is going to be in Swamp Palace, so that is a little bit of info from our good friend there.
The dungeon no one wants to actually full clear, and it's a pendant, and a green pendant. No, speaking of Thieves Town pendants, Skull Woods is our other pendant as well.
Yep, so unfortunately that's a little bit sad, because you do have Turtle Rock, Missouri Mire, Ice Palace, all kind of sitting there as dungeons we have to complete, and 2 of the shorter dungeons in Dark World, which were Skull Woods and Thieves Town, are going to be pendant dungeons, so they may not be required if we're not looking at a pedestal here. But Synth is going to be doing it anyways. Looks like he's going to be looking for the items.
Yep, and Strider going to be taking a dip into EP.
Well, nothing so far in Skull Woods. See what we've got here in Eastern Palace. Just a big key, but that will be nice. That means he can go check that as soon as he routes that in. So
yeah, it doesn't have to do the loop back from the left room,
and doesn't have a double dip either.
He would need to find the bow in here to avoid coming back, but
That's right. That's true.
that is a possibility. Everyone hates vanilla items, but it can happen.
Yeah. Well, you know, the King of Samaria tends to show up a lot more now in Mystery Mire for some reason, so if it can happen in one dungeon, it can certainly happen in a lot of them. So Synth is trying to move that statue while avoiding the Gibdo and the Wallmaster.
Unfortunately, they're not being cooperative.
No, not really. Yeah, unfortunately, he's going to take a death there, but he's going to end up right back out at the start here. Up the room. So I'll get a chance to do it all over again.
This is one of the places where having the boomerangs can come in handy to just stun the Gibdos and keep them away from a little bit.
Yeah, just keep them frozen for a little bit while you move the statue. Meanwhile, we're going to see Strizer going through and doing the east side dark rooms here in Eastern Palace. Sort of relatively simple to do. It's not too hard to get lost in there. One of them's just a big old loop, and the other one's got the key way over on the right side, so he does it nice and easy. And Synth has made his way into that room with the chest.
All that
is just for... and just a heart piece. So nothing really yet progression-wise for Strizer in Eastern, and Synth is not really finding anything yet here in Skull Wood, so looks like they're both gonna back out of those dungeons and move on to other things.
Yeah, Synth is probably going to take the opportunity to head down into Thieves Town, and never mind. He's just going to immediately prove me wrong. He's going to come check what the Bumper Cave has.
It's not a bad call, actually. Bumper Cave usually kind of gets ignored sometimes. There's often a chance that there could be something of value up there, and it's always good to know if you need to have that cape early on to find something of value, or if it's just trash like it was today and you don't have to worry about it ever again.
Yeah, we'll save checking it any further if they head back up there later.
I believe Strizer is going to be joining Synth here in the Village of Outcasts very soon. Let me see what's in the C-shaped house. Oh, it's just another single rupee.
Well, there's both the single rupees out of the way and the single arrow.
And Synth, I think, is going to open up Thieves Town and walk right on in.
Guessing they're feeling fairly confident with the amount of health they have already. I know a lot of people like to check the 3 locations outside, just in case there's something useful around. But given that it is a pendant, he might have no intention of actually completing it at all.
Yeah, if he finds his 4 items really quick, I would just at this point assume that he's going to mirror out and just go away and do something else.
Unfortunately, 2 of the items are in the back, just because of that small key coming up. I didn't, unfortunately... Never mind, I'm being silly.
That's alright. You can all be a little bit silly sometimes. But, see Synth going over here to chest number 3. Still haven't seen that big key. Maybe it pops up here. There it is. Yep. And that means there's one more item out here. Oh, it's a sword upgrade.
That's a nice find.
And yeah, Synth is just, it looks like he's just going to check the first 4 and death warp out of there.
Taking the health refill as opposed to just mirroring out.
Yeah, it's a little bit, he gets a couple extra hearts out of it. Seems at like 2 hearts anyways, so you got an extra 3. I would say that's worth it.
Strizer appears to be skipping Thieves Town at the moment.
And looks like the guessing game didn't really have a whole lot of value. But Strizer is going to go do the Dark World thinking game here. And hopefully we'll see if there's anything to be unearthed.
Also gonna see if this can turn into another one of the classic 20+ digs.
Of course, it wouldn't be a digging game. Oh, a big 20. He's gonna pick it up anyways. Why not?
That was decent timing. Yeah, they still need money for Zora in the long run, so.
And for presumably for Kiki as well, over in Palace of Darkness.
Yeah. Damn monkey. Cost so much to get into a dungeon.
Yeah, there's probably a few other things I assume that they're probably gonna want money for too. Maybe like some potion refills. Maybe if they need to go to Pyramid Ferry, you know, you need to buy that bomb.
So yeah, unfortunately for Strizer, it looks like he's just going to ignore Thieves Town for now and do South Dark World. So he's not going to be getting his Master Sword.
Yeah, that's kind of the only unfortunate thing. It would otherwise be a good play if that sword wasn't in there. If it had been, say, the compass or something else, that would have been a good play. Just to ignore it for now. And Stumpy's got a big 20. Everybody's got big 20s. Everything is big 20s this run.
Well, the more than we find now, the less we can find later, in theory, so.
Yeah, so as you start to kind of go through and eliminate things, every one of those quote-unquote junk things that you find means that there's something of value in a chest somewhere further along the line, so we'll see if Head Cave delivers tonight.
Showing us a little bit of love first.
Oh, I think. Oh, yes.
That's a pretty hype cave tonight.
I'll allow it tonight. I will allow that. You get that Titan's mid upgrade and the boots. That's a nice cave.
Alright, so by the looks of it, we're going to make our way down to Desert. I guess going to check Agna, or he might be getting the rupees for Zora at this point.
He might be. He's going up here to Bombos, but he can't check Bombos because he doesn't have the book. So he's just going to use that to bypass and go to Agna's cave, yeah. And now Synth is going to pick up his glove upgrade and the boots.
So now both runners with Titan mitts. We've got full Dark World access. I'd imagine at this point they're just waiting on like Lamp or something before heading up to Darkness Mountain. I'm not sure if they're comfortable doing the Dark Room to get up there.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to be waiting for, I would say, the Lamp might be good. Because they have everything else they need to get over there. I just saw check that ledge.
Could be a flute as well. Forgot it doesn't have to be a lamp. Technically the lamp itself is just primarily for the old man. But point remains they've got options. When they get access to the top there, they can basically clear all of Death Mountain.
They'll have the slightly longer way to do it. They'll have to go. They'll also be able to go to Tower of Hera probably too once they're able to do that. But they'll have to go the top way to get over to Paradox Cave, Super Bunny Cave, and the Dark World and Hookshot Cave once they get the hookshot, if they get it around here.
Until it's one of those seeds where it puts a hookshot in the first chest of Hookshot Cave because you can boost bonk to it.
That's true, and it's a possibility. And it's not a nice possibility.
It's still not worth checking, though, just in case.
Speaking of bonks, we're going to go ahead and take care of Bonk Rocks here, and let's see what Strizer finds. Oh, Just a little bit of love. Yes, indeed. Synth has he got Master Sword from Thieves Town in the 4th chest in the front.
So this is turning out to be an extremely healthy seed. Less than half an hour in, and we've got a full first row of health on both.
Money's not too bad either, actually. We've been picking up a lot of 20s, but that just means that there's some big cash still waiting to be found. I think Strizer is going to go ahead and dip into Thieves Town finally, so he'll have that Master Sword upgrade in just a moment here.
Meanwhile, Synth's going up and checking Catfish. Kind of an out-of-the-way location, but I imagine they're just going to mirror through... they might not mirror through, actually, because they don't have the money. So unless they just plan on checking Zora Ledge, they're not actually going to be able to currently get anything up here beyond Catfish.
Yeah, it might be a check right now, mostly because I think Catfish is a little bit harder to get to than Zora is. Obviously, you can go down to the warp for Lake Hylia to do Zora eventually. They could even water walk right now if they fake Flippered because they have the Moon Pearl. But Catfish usually just gets kind of left to later if even needed at all.
So Strizer's actually going to go in and at least find all of the items in Thieves Town. We've only found 2 so far, meaning there's another 2 in here somewhere.
And we've got the key as well, so we'll be able to check that. We've got the key and the hammer, so we will be able to check that big chest when we go get blind here, right, all in one fell swoop. So that's going to save him a double dip.
This is one of those locations you don't want to leave the big chest. It's really, really hard to make the decision to come back here later.
Yeah, it's just kind of a pain in the butt to really have to do that. You're just kind of stuck having to go all the way back through not only the front half of it, you have to go through that hallway again. And it's just not fun.
Alright, onwards to the basement.
It looks like Synth has actually gone up to Death Mountain here. Pick up the magic powder up on top of Spectacle Rock. I kind of wonder, is Synth going to go ahead and dip now into Tower of Hair? I bet he's going to do that.
I'm curious how he got up here. If he got the flute from Catfish, or if he just decided Dark Room, or if he got the lamp from Catfish.
I'm kind of curious myself. I guess we'll see in a moment here. We'll probably get a menu. Unfortunately, we missed that Catfish pull.
Yeah, from basement as Thieves Town.
Wah, wah. Small key in the basement of Tower of Hera. And then get the check here on the big chest. Let's see what's in here. Oh, and just gonna be the compass.
So it looks like we're gonna have to deal with blind then.
Yep.
Unfortunately, just one of the red or blue pendants, so nothing from the actual reward unless it's a pedestal seed.
I believe it's gonna be the red pendant. I'm not certain on that. I know it's one of the red or blue pendants. Oh yeah, Synth probably can't go downstairs anyways because he doesn't have a... I'm guessing since he's not progressing, he didn't get the lamp.
Well, he got the ice rod.
Yes, there's the ice rod there. Meanwhile, Strizer's going ahead and taking care of blind.
Just
nice and clean. Yes. Very nicely done. Yep, it's going to be the blue pendant. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there was a whole lot of value hiding out inside of Thieves' Town besides that Master Sword in the front.
Still, that is at least the level 2 sword, which is required to fight Ganon, so they don't have to worry about finding that later.
Well, I guess actually I should take that back. You know, if you like the bug net, if you like the swag and them strats, then maybe there was some value in there.
300 rupees does put him within range of completing both King Zora and Kiki as well.
You can see some hammer dashing here from Strizer. Would love and 100 rupees in Paradox Cave on the bottom side for Synth. There's the lamp. There it is. It's hiding down in the Hammerpeg Cave.
That's a great find. Well, you can do dark rooms.
Yeah, we know Synth hasn't been over there yet, so I'm kind of thinking maybe he went up and did a dark room there.
I'm guessing he just went with the dark room because
Ether and a couple of big 20s. Hey, tempered sword. That's a vanilla.
What? They're blacksmiths.
They're actually doing their job. Oh my goodness. So that's going to be really nice for Strizer once he gets that bow. He's going to have tempered sword and the silvers that will make the Ganon fight very, very nice. I think Synth can go ahead and try to do a bomb jump here. Cross the gap. And very well done.
So I have to imagine Strizer's actually on his way up here. Yep, now.
Yeah.
With the Titan's mitts and the lamp and the hammer.
There's no reason not to do it. And since you got the lamp, Strizer can actually go in and check that bottom room.
Which I have a strong,
in that chest.
I have a strong
I
feeling
think it's going to be the big key.
Yeah, because Synth got out of there really quickly.
Yeah, since Synth backed out, he didn't have the big key in that second chest, so that would make sense that that's where the big key's hiding out at. And it's vanilla location.
Sky Cabbages and Dead Rocks being a little bit of a pain to Strizer, but they don't do that much damage, so.
Yeah, it's Death Mountain. It wouldn't be Death Mountain if they didn't do those things.
They named it very appropriately.
Indeed, and just a little bit of love hiding out inside Spectacle Rock. Got that powder, of course, up there. Strizer's gonna go grab, and then probably we'll see the dip into Tower of Hera.
It makes sense to grab the powder. It's a fantastic safety item, and you never know when the magic bat's going to have anything. So don't completely eliminate both concerns.
And plus, it's right there on your way, so you may as well grab it. So it looks like Quake is going to be the medallion to get into Turtle Rock, and they will have to do that, I believe. Yes, they will have to do that because the Skullwoods and Thieves' Town are 2 non-green pendants. Yeah, but just the big 20 in that chest. Boy, we're getting all the big 20s out of the way real quick here.
So really fortunate for Strizer that he got the lamp before coming up here, because Synth is going to rely on either all of a sudden finding the fire rod to clear this, or he's going to have to come back later once he's got that.
You see Strizer's trying to get the clip into the crystal block here. Missed it the first time, but it looks like he got it the second time. Well, Synth is going to go back to his house and after saving quit. Let's see where he heads next. Might be thinking fake flippers. Wonder if he's going to go down to Lake Hylia.
Oh no, Strizer's stuck between the 2 blocks.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
When I saw him there, I was like, this is looking a little bit dangerous. And yeah, when he tried to move out.
Yeah, he couldn't get out. So unfortunately, having to warp out of that means that it's going to reset. So he's going to have to do this whole thing all over again.
Admittedly, it is a good thing that he had mirror when that happened.
Yeah. Otherwise, that would be a save and quit back to the mountain cave.
Yeah, unfortunately, he doesn't have enough bombs to blow himself up either, so...
Nope. So this time, he's just gonna not even try it. Just, I learned my lesson. I will not tempt the tile room anymore. And indeed, Synth is going to be water walking his way on up here to Zora.
That looked almost like the... Yep, it's a bow.
Oh, the bow is on the Zora ledge. Oh my. They're gonna need those flippers.
It's going to be really unfortunate if flippers are an error. That being said, there is only one item up here, so...
It's a big... Of course it's a big 20. What else would it be?
Lord Ripoff strikes again.
I guess these tries to go ahead and flip that switch. Maybe see if he'll flip it back here. That way those heart containers will be open for him. No, he's not gonna do it yet. He'll just be going ahead and skipping it, but usually you'll see a lot of people flip that switch back once they get up to that floor just to open up the jars that have the hearts in them.
With Tempered, I don't think he's that concerned with Troll Dorm unless... The concern is definitely just being knocked off more than actual health.
That's a fair point, yeah. And Compass, I believe Troll Dorm should have the last item. It doesn't really matter, he's got to complete this anyways.
Unfortunately, we did not see what was in the waterfall cave near Zora.
Yeah, unfortunately. Take a look next time that Synth pauses, see if he's got anything new. Maybe that'll give us a hint. Strizer's going ahead and get
Nice fight.
Flashes in. Very nice fight. And just a little bit of love from Troll Dorm after all that.
That's not too bad for Synth then. He won't be missing anything vital from it.
Oh, might have been... No, might have been Bombos in there. Because he's got Bombos, I'm not quite... He's got Bombos and Quake. Not quite sure where we found those at, but...
He has all 3 medallions now?
He does indeed. I just saw his menu. He's got all 3 of them.
Wow, I'm really curious if he could find both of them in the waterfall.
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, Ether was in Paradox Cave, so Strizer's going to head over there, and it looks like he's going to pick that up. He can get his Ice Rod here as well. But boy, that would be something else if that had both the remaining medallions hiding in that one cave.
No, I've seen silly stuff before. I've seen Super Bunny Cave with both 2 of the sword upgrades in it.
Yeah, and we know that it's not at Hobo. We saw Hobo earlier, and it was just a big 20, I think. I see Strizer use the mirror trick there, just to get that block out of the way.
Yep. We did miss a fair bit of stuff, so it's entirely possible that those 2 aren't in the waterfall cave, but it would be really, really funny.
Oh, nice recovery there. Strizer gets hit trying to pick up the bomb, drops it, picks it back up as it's starting to detonate, throws it over the ledge, and gets the crystal switch without hurting himself. Very nice.
Oh, so I'm curious if Strizer is going to hop into the Dark World down here, or if he's going to opt to go up to the top and do it. Looks like, yeah.
Yep, he's gonna do it down here, I think. It's not a bad idea.
Well, he took Spiral Cave down anyways.
Yeah, so that's not too terrible.
He'd have the option of mirroring to it up top, but it's just might as well enter down here as opposed to going to T-Rock.
Yeah, you're not really approaching it from the hookshot bridge area there, so you don't have to worry about going back up. You're already up there, so you might as well hop on down.
Yeah, that's another bottle for both runners that
Indeed.
would have been found in Super Bunny.
That's an empty bottle too, so they'll have to fill it up. And of course, we know that TR's already Quake.
Need the bacon coin to open that one, but
Yep.
by the looks of it, Strizer's probably going to get it at some point.
And we're
He
gonna
might wait
see,
until he gets flippers, though.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a bonk here, just to check that first chest from Strizer. Yep, yes indeed. There's the Quake. That's where Quake came from.
All right, so both
Okay.
aren't in the waterfall cave.
No, so I think Bombos is just hiding out there then, probably. If it's anywhere. Or it could have been on, we didn't see Catfish either. It could have been Catfish.
So since going and doing the blacksmith line, getting the purple chest and bringing it down here, he'll be up to the tempered sword. Courtesy of the smith actually doing their job for a change. Strizer possibly doing the check up in this region. I'm curious if he'll go to Pod or if he's going to head over to Pyramid.
And we know,
Looks like
we know that, know where the bow is. It's hiding up on Zora Ledge, and they're gonna need the flippers to get that one. So I guess
I believe there's a
here.
double water walk that can be done,
Yes.
but oh wow, swamp isn't even required because it's theoretically required because it's dependent.
Mhm. So really, I mean, you can fake Flipper over to get the Ice Palace. That's not really too much of an issue for these guys, probably. But there's nothing to really like. I need Flippers. That's standing out in the seed. So
So coming into Pod here, we've got a couple options. There might be something in the chest down here. If it's not a key, the dungeon is technically bow locked, but there's now a glitch to get past that.
and it is a key, so it's not bow locked.
We might still see the glitch to get to that side, though, just to avoid. That way, when they come back, they just have to go through Helmsor.
So we are at about 48 minutes. We still have not had a crystal dungeon clear yet. Unfortunately.
Strizer has finished Terra.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's right. I'm sorry. Yes, Strizer's finished Terra. I was thinking about that for a moment. And I thought, wait a minute, didn't somebody get a crystal? So we've got one for Strizer, and nothing yet for Synth because Synth has not found that lamp. He's not done hammer pegs. Riot Shield, nice.
It is the Palace of Small Keys. I believe there are 6 of them from chests.
Yes, indeed, there are 6 in chests. You may not need all 6 of them, depending upon the pathing and where things are in the game. Usually, if you can get it down to one chest left that's behind a key, and you've got all the items out of there, then you know that that last one's just another key, so you don't need it. And he tries to do a bomb throw, but he's not going to do the hammer jump.
Commodore, please get smashed in the pod. Smashed by the pod.
And there's the big key. And the book. Okay, that will get access to Desert Palace.
Which is definitely clearable between having a fire source and the boot.
And that's also going to get them, if they need to, they'll have access to the tablets now.
Strizer's opting to not check the little hallway there.
Yeah, harmless hallway. Oh, and there's the fire rod.
Just need
There's
red
the
key.
fire rod.
Yeah.
Yep. So we've got literacy and a fire rod in the same dungeon. Very nice. And just some bombs. Oh. Strizer's thinking for a moment. Oh, you gonna save and quit. I guess maybe Strizer doesn't want to do the do all that yet because he doesn't have the bow. He doesn't know where it is.
So if Strizer gets the red cane, they can go into and finish T-Rock at this point.
Yes.
It also provides technical access to Ice Palace. I mean, you're not supposed to have access, but that hasn't stopped runners before.
Nah. We are seeing Synth go ahead and go up Tower Hera here. It looks like he's just gonna bypass whatever's in that bottom. Well, actually, he wouldn't have been able to bypass whatever was in that bottom chest. So I'm guessing because that's big key. So I'm guessing he's got. Perhaps he's gone ahead and picked up the lamp in the interim here.
Batman giving us some improved armor.
Never gonna turn that down, I think. And yes, Fire Rod is in the dark room in the dark maze in Palace of Darkness in the top left chest.
Strizer going to... Never mind. Well, I was going to say something, but I'm not going to because I'd be wrong. Oh, I think he's going to do his purple chest now.
Yeah, probably. I think is Synth going to be just making the play here to open up T-Rock? Perhaps? He's heading over there to do the warp tile.
I guess if you made the trip up here, it's a bit unusual, but...
Yeah, unless he's picked up Kane somewhere and we just haven't caught that yet. Which is entirely possible. Yes,
Yes, he did.
In fact, that's exactly what's happened. Which makes me
Unfortunately,
wonder if the cane is not going to show up right about now.
I have a strong suspicion that you're probably right.
Nope. No, but we gotta be pretty close to it.
Where would he have found that? Because he doesn't have literacy or the fire rod, so it couldn't be on Bombos. Where could he have gone that would have had that? Agnes cave, perhaps? No, we saw Agnes.
No, we
already,
saw
didn't we?
Agnes cave, and it could have been catfish. Could have been hiding in that.
Oh, yeah, we still haven't seen Catfish or Waterfall Cave.
Yeah, waterfall cave. Could have been either of those locations along with Bombos.
Well, since getting the small key out of the first chest, so he'll be able to at least continue a little bit into T-Rock. Not going to actually be able to do the fire room over here just because he doesn't have the fire rod from Pod.
And I can guarantee you that there's one thing we're not going to see. We're not going to see that shovel in the chain chomp room again. You've seen that way too many times in the past 24 hours.
Fortunately, we already have it.
Yes. So it's going to be something else. Yeah, it could have been, yeah, there's a couple of locations it could have been. I assume that Strizer's going to have to check those places because he will also need the cane.
In the meantime, though, he's going to take the opportunity while he's over here to clear out desert,
Yep.
which is a good play.
You might as well. He hasn't found either of the items that are in here. It's just a key in that chain chomp room today. Still looking for those items. So we'll see what's in the chest. Is just a little bit of love. I think we're gonna see him go all the way over to the right here. Just clear this left side out, and then probably make his way to Lamolas.
Yep, just needs to make a quick stop by the big key chest, and then can make his way to the back. Or rather, the big chest itself, not the...
And that's just the burrito, so that should mean that the last item is on Lamolas.
Yep, our other one being the piece of heart. This
Oh,
Pokey
Synth
not
is,
being nice.
Yeah, Synth is having a little bit of a issue there with the anti-fairy. He's trying to get the... You got it, come on. You can... Let's go. Yeah, come on. Yeah, there you go. Nice job. It's always so tricky to get them when they're not in that initial formation like that, because you just kind of lose some of the expectation of where they're going next.
Yeah, they just start bouncing all over the room.
Check the middle chest here. Normally going to be the big key. What is it today? It is the big key. Ooh, a lot of vanilla keys showing up today in this seed.
So unless there's a small key in the big chest, which I'm not sure if that's possible or not. I think it is.
Yeah, I believe it is certainly possible for that small key to be in that big chest.
Yeah, he won't actually be able to continue down the laser bridge. Because the small key would be back in the fire room.
Strizer can go ahead and use that fire rod to great effect. Clean up some of Lamola's, and then probably just finish it off with some spins here. And he gets a nice bomb upgrade for his shovels and a crystal, which is the most important.
Still would have liked to have gotten something better than a bomb upgrade, but unfortunately not in this case.
Yeah, unfortunately the rando taketh and the rando giveth. It seems to taketh a lot more than giveth sometimes.
So here comes a Mimic Cave from Synth.
Oh, he's trying to do the mimic pull here. Just as long as you don't press the direction there, it should be good. There you go. There we go. It's really hard to remember not to do that sometimes because your natural instinct is to press up against the wall and then pull back. But if you just grab the wall and you don't pull, you can kind of move the mimics around like you got a joystick on them. I would say, yeah, Ether Tablet could have the flippers, Daniel. I'm not quite sure. They could be somewhere. They could be hiding out somewhere, like on Laser Bridge here, or right there,
Yeah,
right there.
they could be in the big chest.
They could be in the big chest. Turtle Rock.
So if flippers are there, then it means they're not in Waterfall, or the Red King isn't in Waterfall Cave.
Correct.
That would be locked out.
Correct. So that just makes this search a little bit more curious. Becomes, where exactly has Synth gone that Strizer hasn't gone yet? And that's very likely the answer that we're looking for. So maybe it's something like Graveyard Ledge.
You know, that wouldn't surprise me.
Because I don't think we've seen Strizer go to Graveyard Ledge yet. We've seen him do King's Tomb, we've seen him do Bunk Rocks. But that's the thing. The seed knows that you guys are going to be, or that even we're going to be asking questions of where things are. And as soon as we start asking, well, where is X? And it'll immediately show itself.
So that's really, really good for Synth, as that will allow him to pick up his bow. Meaning when he heads into pod, he'll actually be able to complete it.
He'll be able actually to do the pod Eastern Palace back to back there, which will be really nice. It's really, really nice to be able to do that. And plus, I think he's already got quite a bit of Eastern done, so he may just be able to just rush to the back, kill the Armos Knights, get that taken care of.
Yeah, and while he's in pod, he'll pick up his fire rod, so that's also another step. That will leave him just requiring the hookshot and the flute for go mode.
Yep, and he'll be able to have the book as well, so he'll be able to get into Desert Palace as his next dungeon, which unfortunately it won't have anything that he needs to be able to get into Mire or T-Rock right now. I mean, Mire or Ice Palace, but that should help him out quite a bit.
Here comes the pedestal check.
Head check, couch cash. Yep. Never a bad idea to check it, especially if you're already up here to do the work. So now we know that there is no pedestal seed today. But Synth is going to go ahead and get that bow right off the bat.
It's way too good an item to delay on picking up, so... Strizer grabbing the big key and opting to come back here and immediately check it rather than going and fighting the moth.
Probably a good idea, especially because it's a pendant dungeon, so you're not going to get a whole lot. And of course, Synth's going to go grab that bow, saves and quits right out of there.
I'm expecting the pod Eastern play, like, immediately. Two crystals, bunch of items.
Would be the wise move.
And there he is on his way.
And just a big 20 hiding out there in that big chest with Skullwoods. And indeed, Synth is going to be going to Pod and Easter Palace. Clean them both up. They're both pendant dungeon, crystal dungeons, and therefore they're going to be required anyways. Why not get them both at the same time?
So I'm guessing Skullwoods, both items have been found because Strizer got a big 20 out of the big chest and just immediately left.
That would be correct. we're going to get a graveyard ledge check here, so we'll see if perhaps our assumption is correct. Catfish being the other big option at this point, where Synth could have picked that up that we haven't seen yet. Indeed, there it is, Graveyard Ledge. As Canis Amaria.
Seed, please stop putting items in Graveyard Ledge. No one likes when you put items in Graveyard Ledge.
And guys are very upset. Lays down a bomb. Oh. Or Strizer.
I feel like this is an immediate trip up to Turtle Rock, but the good news is, unlike when Synth came up here, Strizer's going to be able to finish it in this single trip.
Yes. And he's also still got Desert Palace in hand over Synth, so even though they both still have to do Pod and Aether Palace, Synth still has to go through and clear out Desert Palace. Now, if he's in go mode, Synth's gonna have a little bit of an easier time of doing that, but I don't quite know that yet. Still looking for that hook shot.
Strizer not checking Ether while he's there.
I'm a little curious on that one. Maybe he just wants to get the Turtle Rock first. Maybe wants to see what's in those chests before making his way over to Ether and having to spend the time checking that. So I'm gonna guess that means that Bombos was either on Catfish or it's hiding out in the Waterfall Cave.
That'd probably be fair to guess at this point. Strizer's gonna get his flippers here, so we're gonna find out probably after TR, because once he sees those, he's probably also going to immediately go and pick up the bow.
Indeed. You see Synth go ahead and open up some of these chests out here in the front. I believe you saw most of these. I don't think there's anything too valuable hiding out here. Yeah, just more keys. And of course the riot shield. Which I'm sure if he had to go to Laser Bridge, he would have really rather have that.
Well, fortunately, he hasn't actually had to do Laser Bridge yet.
Which is good. Oh, Strizer, please.
He doesn't have the hook shot, so he actually has to do this room the long way around, and he realized it. So he's actually conserving the magic.
Saving that. I gotcha. That's right. He doesn't have the hook shot, so he's gonna have to do this in reverse.
Yeah, so he's just gonna hit all of them here.
Yes. Had to do the little turnaround there. I always forget that, you're so used to having hook shot when you get in here that you forget sometimes if you don't have it what you need to do.
Yep, there's that small key that Synth needed to continue on to Laser Bridge. Quickly killing the Pokey, continuing through to one of the worst rooms in the game, the Jane Jobs.
Oh, I hate Jane Jobs so much. Doesn't matter how much armor you have, doesn't matter what you do. Just the amount of health that they take out, no matter what what mail you're wearing, is ridiculously sad. It just makes me sad every time they hit me.
But getting through with only one hit. And continuing on towards the big key pickup here.
And Sun's going to get his Fire Rod right here. which also needed that to complete TR. And very nice. All 4 fairies. That is a nice little bit of powdering there.
Synth's probably a little bit unhappy getting his fire rod here because he could have had it before going into T-Rock, but
Yeah. And that means that he's got to go ahead and double dip that whole thing again. He's got to go all the way back from the start. At least he'll be able to go through everything because it'll be open, but that's just such a long slog to get all the way back there.
a lot of supplies being dropped by that pokey. 10 arrows, 8 bombs, full magic refill.
It's the friendliest pokey I've ever seen.
Alright, so Synth is going to make his way back to Helmasaur King and finish up Pod.
Yeah, block giving him a little trouble there. A little bit of grief. A little too far up the first time, bounced off the wall a little too far back the second time.
The push things are extremely sensitive. We have Strizer over here just chucking blocks at the gorilla.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting way to take care of Mimic Cave here. I guess it's okay because there's going to be a couple of magic refills up here, so doesn't have to worry too much about running out of magic. Now Strizer's going to go right in that door and pick up his flippers from the big chest. He's not going to be too happy about it.
Doesn't like finding them there, but he's still in a better condition than since what's coming up here.
And Synth, meanwhile, is in the dreaded turtle room over here in Palace of Darkness. So, it's a pain in the butt when you have the lamp. It's even worse when you don't have it.
You can die so quickly in that room without the lamp, and you don't even see what's hitting you.
And hello, Helmasaur King. Nice to see ya. Nice to see you tonight. Meanwhile, Strizer making his way over here to get through the platform room.
Fortunately, having the mirror shield, so they don't need to worry about magic for the laser bridge.
And Synth is about to, if he can get a single shot in here, there we go. Drop on Helmasaur King. Strizer gonna go ahead and check. See if there's anything really valuable on Laser Bridge tonight. Half magic, I think that's probably a pretty good find.
That's fantastic to find right before Trinex as well.
And the last remaining key to get into Trinex, actually. So it looks like that's probably going to be required. I would assume that means that Synth will also find the half magic at some point.
I'd imagine so, but the only way he'd not get that is if he came back here in go mode and stopped at the third chest.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. If he stops once he gets that key, he won't find it because it's in the last chest. But I would think maybe he would just spend a moment to check that last one. You know, Strizer's going to go ahead and take on Trinex here. See if we get a nice 0 cycle, or doesn't look like it, but he's going to get probably a pretty nice fight here. Make sure to switch switch over to that fire rod before he kills that fire neck. It's because you can't switch over when the explosions are happening.
And this fight has so many explosions.
It has a ridiculous amount of explosions. You get those explosions there, you get the explosions here, each of the neck explodes.
Synth did not clear Turtle Rock
Yes.
because they did not have a fire rod while they're up there, so they couldn't. Oh, of course.
Indeed.
Why
And there's the
wouldn't
flute. There's the flute. Right on Trinex. Wow. So flippers and flute in Turtle Rock.
So that is really, really unfortunate for Synth because they're not even going to get to go back up there in go mode. They're going to have to double dip T-Rock without even getting everything.
Yeah, it's not going to be a situation where they can go from T-Rock straight over to Ganon. They're going to have to go to Meyer, actually. And that may be the last dungeon. It may be... I don't know if the routing's going to tell them to go Meyer last, or if they're going to have a choice between Meyer and Ice Palace.
Well, for all intents and purposes, they already have access to Ice Palace now that they've gotten both of them have the flippers.
That's true, yes. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please kindly take off your caps and rise for the Swag Deck National Anthem. Thank you very much. The Swag Deck appreciates it. So I wonder now if we're going to see Strizer go ahead and probably check over at 6, and let's see what Meyer's got here as far as what medallion you need to get inside. If it's Bombos, he's going to have to do a little bit more digging. If it's Ether or Quake, he's good to go.
I'd say I'm curious that he's
It's
not
going to be Quake. Yes.
heading straight up to Zora's domain, but I don't think he actually checked Zora's ledge, unlike Synth. So I'm not sure if he knows the bow's up there.
Yeah, I don't think he's been over to Zora yet. He might just be checking all of these things, thinking that the bow could be here in Meyer Shed, it could be on Checkerboard Cave, it could even be, maybe he even thinks it could be inside of Meyer itself. Which, those are all valid possibilities, but we happen to know that that's not the case.
Picking up Cape, because why not? Alright, so let's see what Meyer's got for us today.
Indeed. And we're getting to see those silvers get put to work here. Very nicely done. 50 rupees on the Armos Knight fight.
We are still looking for the hook shots, so that is basically going to be
That may be our go mode item, yeah. At this point. Unless we've got ourselves a baby Andy in this group and somebody knows how to hover across that gap.
It's definitely going to be Strizer's go mode item, I think.
I would think so, yeah.
Unless he finds it here in Meyer. Synth might have Flute instead.
Certainly a possibility. If there's nothing in Meyer here, if the hookshot's not here, then yeah, I think Flute's going to be Synth's go mode item if he could find the hookshot before that. It's all just a matter of where it is. And we're seeing Synth make his way, as expected, making his way over to the Desert Palace to clean that up.
Yeah, he picked up the book in Pod, so he might as well put it to use.
I love that little animation there for Sonic. That's just so fitting.
You're supposed to be praying, not posing.
I love that they use his idle animation from the original game. Not going fast enough because it's time you're stalled. But go ahead and see what's up here for Strizer. He's got that crystal switch flipped. Yeah, it's just a 50. That's unfortunate. And a small key for Strizer, and while Synth is making their way right through all of the stuff that we've seen before over in Desert Palace, the burrito.
Misery Mire living up to its name and making people do the cutscene.
Indeed. So we get to see the nice little glitch here Strizer's doing for us, where if you push a block and you use the fire rod at the right time through it, within the right frames, it'll just pass straight through the block. It'll save you a little bit of hassle having to go ahead and push the blocks away to get the torches lit there. And another big key chest is the map.
Oh no, it didn't make us do the cutscene room.
Oh no. You didn't have to do that. So I think that means, based on what we've seen him check, I think there's 1 or 2 chests that he hasn't checked yet, and the big key's hiding out one of those too.
Big key's gonna be the one to the left of the big chest, probably.
Yep, I think that's it.
Once he already... No, he doesn't already have it. Yeah, so...
No, he doesn't have it yet. And there it is. So now...
By the looks of it, he's still missing an item, so he's gonna go back and...
Oh, no, he's not, maybe. I think he's just gonna... Alright, maybe, yeah, he is gonna reset the room, it looks like.
Yeah, you have to hop out and back in, otherwise the collapsed floor stays collapsed.
That makes sense. And... Oh, nice! Just barely keeps it on there, and it's just a key. Which I think if that means that he's missing an item, that means Vitreous would have it.
Yeah, he's got all the other chests in here, so it's on to Vivi at this point.
And this is going to be interesting. We're not going to be able to see... we are going to be able to see Cape Gas Trap, in fact, tonight. I would assume that with half magic, that's exactly what Strizer's going to try and do. Does not have the bow, which would have made it a lot easier.
I'm still always amused by how Vitreous, with certain items, is either like the freest fight in the game or the stupidest fight in the game.
Mm-hmm. There's a big gap between doing them just even with silver arrows and regular arrows. There's a huge gap there. It's so painfully difficult to do it just with the regular arrows, unless you have like a really good sword, versus doing it with silvers, and it's just pew 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 pew. Meanwhile, we got Synth over there cleaning up Lambola, so that makes, I believe, 4 crystals for him. He should have the 3 overworld crystals and pod.
Curious where he's gonna go now. I'd imagine he'd head into ice, but I think he's gonna check something else here.
I'm curious what he's gonna check next.
Sword beams, please. Alright, there we go. Ah, really?
Ah,
Okay, so
there we go.
that's extra like unfortunate for Synth because
Yeah,
he
he's
absolutely needs to get up to T-Rock
yeah.
again.
That's kind of a bummer. Looks like
So
Strider going to 8, which I think means it's gonna be Ice Palace.
he's got everything he needs to do it, so might as well.
Indeed.
Again, still don't think he knows that Zora's got his bow, so
Yeah, which that would be his go mode item, I believe. So thankfully, he's not going to need the bow for anything here. So he'll be able to clear this with what he's got. It's not going to be any more difficult without the bow here.
Synth's making his way over to ice as well by the looks of it, so we're actually going to have
Indeed.
both runners in ice.
A little bit of convergence here, actually, for once. But it does mean that Strizer is not going to be able to complete the last 2 dungeons until he goes and gets that bow. And then as soon as he does, he's in go mode, and he's just going to barrel through those 2 back to back. So it's all just a matter of how soon does he go check Zora.
I'd imagine it would be relatively soon. It's gradually becoming one of the more item-dense locations, so between the ledge item, Zora's item, and the 2 waterfall cave items, I'm actually kind of surprised he didn't check it before ice. But he might just be going on the basis of if you can full clear a crystal, you might as well just do it because you need to clear it anyways.
Agreed. And I think what Synth is trying to set up here with him with going into Ice Palace, I think they want to do Turtle Rock last, but I think they're going to find out the hard way that they can't do Turtle Rock last. They're going to be doing Mire last for their playthrough.
Yeah, because they need to get their flute from Trinex and their
Indeed.
hookshot from Vitreous.
Did they get the flippers a long time ago? Yeah, they got the flipper. I wouldn't say a long time ago, but there has been a considerable amount of time, at least for Strizer. I think it's probably been about 15-20 minutes since he's done. Probably since he's done.
The
Turtle Rock.
flippers were in Turtle Rock's big chest, so it did
Yeah.
take them quite a bit of items to even access them in the first place.
Indeed. But yeah, Strizer has not done Zora yet, so choosing instead to do dungeons, probably with the hope that the bow is somewhere here.
Conveniently getting a small key in ice there, allowing him to just head back and open these 3 chests from the backside here.
Well, the only thing is that the bow is on the Zora ledge, so you're gonna need the flippers to get up there, unless you know how to do the second water walk, which is very difficult. So that's the big thing here, is that Strizer hasn't even gone up to check Zora yet, so he doesn't even know that up on that ledge is where the bow is. Yeah, Zora, unfortunately, like most days, Zora is just a small life lesson today. Indeed, a little bit trolly. Synth had already been up there to check Zora, so that's why they knew as soon as they had the flippers, they were gonna go get that bow.
I'm still expecting Strizer will head up there basically after finishing ice, though. because it is 4 items that he doesn't know what they are.
Yeah, it would be one of the bigger unchecked item saturation areas left on the map for him, probably.
The worst case scenario for him would be deciding to take the hook shot and go into Swamp. But I'm pretty sure most people would check Zora before Swamp.
Yeah, because Swamp, even though it has more chests per se and more items in it, with 6 possibly in there, it's a lot longer than going up to Zora and checking those 4 items spots up there.
Yeah, a minute or 2 for 4 items, or like several minutes for 6.
Yeah, because you're going to be doing a full clear if that's the case. I think the good news for Strizer's already checked the pedestal, so he knows that Bo is not sitting on pedestal for any reason. So there's no need to worry about that.
Oof. Synth unfortunately taking a death there, got stuck in the doorway by that Freezor, and can't use Y items while standing in doorways, so wasn't allowed to actually fire rod it.
We're going to see Strizer make his way over here to Cold Stare. And with that half magic, it should be not too bad at all. Get that open. And time to go to work. Probably should try and group them together if we can. Get those fire rod shots off. Might
to be completely fair, when they break apart like this.
Yeah, it's a little bit more difficult to regroup them back together like that, so you're probably going to be using the sword a little bit more. But there we go, 5 crystals for Strizer.
It's a lot safer to just not attempt to control them at all and just hit them when you can, because
Indeed. And while we're having a little bit of break here, just a reminder to follow our runners tonight, Strizer and Lord of the Synth. Putting on a great show for you guys.
All right, Strizer, where are you going? Number 2?
No, going to
Oh, he might have remembered that he didn't check Ether and was like, oh no.
Oh, he's got the hook shot out, so maybe. Oh no, he's just gonna use that for the extra speed there.
Yep, free super speed. Oh, unfortunately, getting pulled off the side of the ladder. Unfortunately, super speed is active. Touching any ledge will immediately pull you off it.
Indeed. Yeah, it looks like he's gonna go check Ether now. Maybe, unfortunately, there might be a check of good old Spike Cave. Since he's already up here, I would not be shocked if we don't see a Spike Cave check. Yeah, it's just a 50.
Yeah, I think this can be the imminent Spike Cave.
Or maybe not. A little bit of a surprise there. Oh, Hookshot Cave. He's gonna go to Hookshot Cave.
Yeah.
That's what he's
That
gonna
makes
do.
a lot of sense because that is a bunch of items in a very tiny area.
Indeed, and neither of them have actually been up here because they got the hook. Well, Synth doesn't have the hook shot. The Strizer just picked it up.
I'm honestly very used to like seeing that come up much earlier in races than all the way at Meyer.
He's he's using the steps for Turtle Rock to get that extra dash speed there.
He's got the hook shot. He wants to use it.
Yeah, I've never seen that, but now that I think about it, it's like that's actually a really smart idea. Oh, Butter Sword. Okay. And just 10 arrows, not the bow, some arrows.
I love how there's 10 arrows on the ground right beside us, so you just got like two of the 10 arrows beside each other.
Okay, maybe now we're gonna see that Spike Cave. So it looks like he's doubling back here. Yeah, it's gonna be Spike Cave Chef right up here. And unfortunately, he's just gonna find some bombs hiding out in that Spike Cave chest. So,
I mean, really, the best he could have hoped for, given what we know is like the red mail. But
well, let's see if he's got the flute out. Maybe now is the time to check to go to 2. He goes to 2. Maybe. Yep, there it is. I think we're about to get it. We're about to get a very frustrated and upset Strizer when he walks out into Zora's domain, looks on that ledge, and sees that bow. They're going to be many a slash at this point. So we are just about to enter go mode for Strizer here.
we get to find out if there's bombos in here too.
Indeed. Yep, right there. There's Bombos and a 50. Okay. Well, that solves one of the great mysteries. And prepare for frustration slashes and go mode. There's the slashes.
Yep.
Saw him do a couple before when he was getting a little frustrated. I knew he was going to be pulling them out here.
I don't think he's even going to check Zora.
No, I wouldn't check Zora. There's no reason to. You know where that last item is, just go get it. And so, at 136-42, with some frustration and some rage, Strizer is officially in go mode, and he is off to do Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace.
Unfortunately, the duck has no intention of going near Zora's domain. Way too many fireballs in there.
And I really can't blame him. It's a scary place. But Synth is going to go ahead and pick up his next crystal from Cold Stare there. So I think he's going to be pushed back to going and completing Turtle Rock at this point. I don't think he really has an option if he wants to keep doing crystal dungeons. It's going to have to be TR. He can't get into Mire, so...
All right, yeah, he's definitely going to enjoy. Strizer's definitely going to enjoy just being able to come back in here, clear both of these quickly, and then make his way up to GT. Though.
Indeed, and he's got most of both of those cleared. All he has to do really is just go in, kill Helmasaur King, kill the Armos Knights, and he's done. Well, actually, he's got to pick up a key here first because he doesn't have any keys. So we're gonna need one key to be able to get back there to Helmasaur King.
Which he might find out the hard way because he needs to be going over to the Bowlock side.
Yeah, that's.
Don't.
I think
Won't
he's
save it.
he's realizing now that he's got to go over there. I think. Yep. He will be rewarded for that. He will get that key that he's looking for. Where is Synth going, though? That's a good question. Is Synth gonna go up and check Pedestal now too? He went into Lost Woods. Like he's gonna have to go. Like he's gonna go check it.
I think he's going to check Ped, yeah, just to make absolute certain.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Oh my god, another
necessarily,
homeless guard.
I know. Now, I gotta get these guards some better quarters here, man. They're just camping outside. That should be a key right there. Yep, that's that key that Strizer needs to advance further on, and we're gonna get a check from Synth here, and he's just gonna find out his couch cache.
Synth is unfortunately doing absolutely everything they can to avoid going back up to TR, and that is exactly what they need to do.
It's unfortunate. I know the reason that they want to go up, they want to do TR last, obviously, is because it's the closest one to Ganon's Tower, but it's also the one that you need to be able to get all of the progression to get you to your real last one, which is going to be Misery Mire.
And I think he's heading back up to TR, and at this point, probably basic resignation that there's no other option.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta, the game just says, hey, go here, and you want to fight it, but you're just like, well, you know, I gotta trust in you, game. What's nice for Strizer, though, is that he's gonna finish in the overworld, so he's gonna have one less transition between having to go to the back to the light world after finishing a dark world dungeon. So it's not gonna save you a lot of time, but you know it'll save a little bit.
Those sword beams are the worst.
Now we're gonna get to see Strizer take on Elmasaur King with a little bit more gear than Synth had when they took him on.
This is actually a perfect fight, basically, right here. Having him walk straight to the bottom and
having him walk there, plus the tail swing instead of doing the fireball is very, very good to have. You want as many tail swings as you can have. Those fireballs, you can't really take swings at that mask when he's shooting fireballs.
Now for a quick mirror over to Eastern and a run through of the shortest dungeon in the game. The cape was at Checkerboard Cave near, well, Light World Desert.
Yeah, which is why Strizer has it, but Synth does not, because Synth does not have the flute to be able to flute over to 6 to get the access to Checkerboard Cave from the Dark World. We are going to see Strizer go ahead, go into this dark room, get that key, make his way straight up and onward to Armos Knights. Drop them very quickly with the silver arrow bow combination.
So I'm guessing Synth is going to be very, very unhappy with Flute on Trinex here.
I would have to agree. I think I would be very unhappy finding that out.
Unfortunately, I'm almost certain that that's also going to cost them a sub 2-hour time.
Probably having to go back into a dungeon usually is never good for the old timer there. And Strizer picking up that last crystal. He is going to be on his way to Ganon's Tower, which, of course, you know what that means. There is a big key in Ganon's Tower that is hiding in one of 22 locations. So if you would like to play along, go ahead and put a number between 1 and 22 in the chat where you think that big key is going to be hiding at.
I'm going to go with 2 myself.
No, you're going to go early. I'm going to go a little bit late. I said 17 earlier and I was wrong, so let me think about this for a moment. I'm going to go ahead and pick my lucky number. Go with 12. 12 is a nice number.
Strider having a bit of a delay because of, dead rocks being dead rocks.
Mm-hmm. That's just the way that dead rocks are. They're going nowhere, yet making sure that you don't go anywhere.
Basically an anchor.
Just a pain in the butt. I'm going to see Strizer use the hook shot here, and actually use the mirror to get through the second block. Nice little combination.
I mean, you can crumble dead rocks. It's just a very specific order of operations.
That's true. You just kind of need a little bit of powder to turn them into something a little less dead rocky.
A lot squishier.
Indeed. Strizer, I think, is going to make this quick run over here. Looks like we're going to have about a 146 in tower entry on his side of things. And that's not too bad at all.
So I can see him getting probably, depending on how still easy GG Big Key feels like being, probably a low to mid 150 at this point.
I would think so. The key's gonna depend a lot on how much of that time is gonna be taken up here. I never realized the bunny animation for the Sonic sprite is Mario. That's incredible. That is amazing work.
Well, we're not killing Bob today, so Bob
Nope.
gets to live.
And by the way, we are now past 3 on the lovely little counter there. For those of you playing along at home, and check 4 through 7 up here. We'll see if we got what's in number 4. Another big 20. Number 5 gonna be some bombs. Bomb upgrade. 6. The answer is 6. Okay. So it looks like Joishi, you did get it right on the dot. Congratulations. You said 6, and it was inside chest number 6 on that left side. Third one in there on the left side there. Nicely done. And that means Strizer is going to be making his way up through Gauntlet here. Gotta take care of some of the
Opting to use a statue to pull the
Yes.
red Koreas.
Indeed. You got 2 more red Gorillas in here to take care of. Now they're actually easier to kill. The room's just a little more difficult because of the BMOS.
Since opting to take the safety door here, just in case of shenanigans with Phoenix.
Can't say I blame him. And it looks like Synth is going to find that half magic up here. They're working from top to bottom. Yes, indeed. Gets that 1 key that they need. And probably keep... Oh, actually, no, they're going to take the gamble that the flute's not anywhere there. And that's the correct gamble to make. Meanwhile, Strizer making his way straight through Gauntlet here. Not really being slowed down too much.
It's actually pretty good because these rooms are notoriously bad sometimes.
Yeah. It doesn't take a whole lot for those rooms to just quickly go sideways, especially with the BMOS in them. And you're just kind of losing chunks and chunks of damage.
And now the true secret weapon of Landmolus 2. An unbelievable amount of lag caused by a fireball shooter.
Indeed.
You do not want to miss silver arrows in that room because it just takes forever for them to...
contribute so much to the lag. Of course, with the Wizrorbs up here, using the cane makes quick work of them.
Still love seeing that room every time just because of having played Zelda 1 ever.
And another quick little room up here. Just leave the last guy. Sword dash. Or sword spin. Now we dash. And oh!
Almost getting intercepted there.
Indeed. Easy to get knocked off there. And oh, Strizer taking the fall intentionally to save a little bit of time to get over to those other two.
Unfortunately, finding that the blue head of Trinex is a... How did that not hit the blue head?
Uh-oh.
Finding out that the blue head is a...
Oh, that's what I was worried about. I saw he was on like 2 hearts, and that was not good. That is very frustrating to get that far. Synth does have the room open there, the door open there, so Synth will be able to go ahead and when they're ready.
Hold 2 goes down quickly for Strizer.
Indeed.
For newer runners, it's actually a bit of a strategy on the Trinex fight to do the opening shot for the, like on the red one, and then switch over to and go after the
ice one
before it gets to fire the ice ball. Unless you got Butter Sword. If you got Butter Sword, it doesn't matter.
Indeed.
You can kill them both.
I think we got a double, maybe a single there for Strizer. Another single there. I couldn't tell if the first one was a single or a double. It's very close. Yeah, it must have been a double because that was 4 singles. And Strizer 152 going to be checking out Ganon's tower. He should have a very nice Ganon fight here. A little bit of bonk for the duck to pick him up, but he'll be hopefully having a really nice Ganon fight here with the Butter Sword and the Silver Arrows. That should be not too tall of a task. Well, we're gonna get some facts about landslugs tonight, everybody. Did you know they have feelers on their heads?
I'm pretty sure I did, but, you know, I guess I'll take the reminder.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I learned that from Rando, actually.
I think my favorite is the whole grain cereal.
For your insides. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. We got cheese facts earlier, so we're getting all kinds of knowledge up in here. Oh, and Synth down to 1 heart again. Has progressed past the first phase here of Trinex.
You stay away from that ice floor.
Indeed. There we go.
Nice.
Yeah, nicely done.
Unfortunately, we're probably about to see about 1 billion rage swipes.
Yeah, it's gonna be really frustrating to pick up that flute, knowing that that's what he needed. I don't know. Strizer is actually making pretty good time here on Ganon. Ooh, gets a double. Very nice. 1 more shot should do it.
And boop.
And there we go.
I've actually used that Ganon text as an excuse to delay an interview after race. But anyways, GD Strizer.
And walking through that door, Strizer is going to finish with a game time of 1 hour, 54 minutes, and 18 seconds. This is official time.
getting an immediate apology from the seed.
Indeed. Well, the seed knows it should apologize, so after what it did to them.
There's a couple ways of getting doubles. If you can actually light the torch while Gan is near you and in the center of the room, getting a double is pretty easy, but otherwise you have to be careful about where he positions, because if he actually bumps into one of the gaps at the edge of the room, he will immediately break the stun and teleport away.
So Synth is going to keep on going here. Looks like. I had to do Meyer. Very, very quick Meyer here. So should just be able to go ahead and get this room clear. He's got the wizrobes done, so that's the hardest part. We're looking for that big key. We know where it is. It's on the right side here, right next to the big chest. So we've got ourselves a little bit more. Where's Synth here? Synth can actually get the big key right off the bat here. Probably he's got one key there. And they're gonna pick up, I think, another one here. Yeah, so could just walk on over. I don't think the oh yeah, it is blocked from the crystal block there, so all I'd have to do is go ahead, open up this door, flip that crystal switch, walk back out, go downstairs, and that key would be there. And that looks like I might actually get to see that.
Depends on whether he just runs back from here too.
Yeah.
It's very tempting to
Get
do
another,
that, unfortunately.
another key. Yeah. Yeah, actually, we might see that.
Yep, looks like he's going for it.
Oh, he went down the wrong pathway, but it's very easy to do. And little spark got stuck there. So Synth's gonna get their key right now, and they can just go ahead and go straight back up to that room and walk on through. Make their way right over to Vitreous, and they're gonna have the bow and silver arrows for this one, so this is gonna be a quicker fight. This is a lot quicker when you've got those silver arrows to kill the eyeballs and then kill Vidi right off the bat.
Oh yeah, one shot each, and then 2 for the main one.
Yep.
The problem with Misery Mire is the exact ways you can go mode it are a little bit weird. It really depends on where the big key actually is. If you're really lucky, it'll be in like the first or second chest, and you can immediately just head to the back and laugh at most of it.
Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of people doing this with Key Sanity. There's actually a kind of a strat that I see a lot of people doing. They're saving that bridge chest for last if they have the hook shot, and they just hook shot over to it last to grab that. I guess in some pathing it might be a little more efficient because you're going to have to go that way to get to Vidi anyways.
Yeah.
But this will be a very, very quick and efficient fight, and then as soon as Synth is done with this, it's going to be off to Ganon's tower. That should be just as quick through GT as Strizer was.
Going to get a bit of lightning to the face, but it's not really an issue.
Yeah, it's not going to be too much of an issue at this point. And a hook shot right there. So now that will put Synth in even more so go mode, at least go mode through Ganon's tower.
Which isn't actually a guarantee, technically speaking. You can get to Ganon's tower and not be in go mode. It's just very, very, very rare.
Yes. Or you could just be Andy and hook shots are obsolete for crossing gaps.
I believe the counter to that is Swamp Palace being required, but...
Yeah. Well, if Swamp Palace isn't required, if it's a seed like this... Kind of interesting here. That Synth is taking this path up to get to Ganon's tower.
It does work. It is a bit longer than the other 2 options.
Yeah, I was going to say, because they're going to have to dash all the way over to Turtle Rock and then dash all the way back. Which isn't too much of a hassle, but it's kind of, you know, I guess 6 in one half a dozen in the other. Yes, Synth is definitely in go mode by now. So yeah, just another good time here to remind people that you can follow our runners. They are putting on a heck of a show for you guys, doing a really good job. Very entertaining race tonight. Lots of back and forth, up and down. Seeing Synth go ahead and do that check. And since Synth is going to make the right call here, which is go back, go down to the left side, and walk right past that torch. Go on.
We'll save them a little bit of time at the end here, as opposed to going full right.
Indeed. Plus, with those extra keys, that should just mean you don't have to stop for any keys on the way up. Oh, nicely done. And Synth is about to find their GTV key. I'm trying to do the bonk back across. Probably just gonna opt for the hook shot there instead. And one more to go. Stun prize is a heart. I don't think we'd actually seen that tonight. At least we haven't caught it, but a little bit of healing. It's always nice. There's that big key. Now it is Synth's turn to take on the gauntlet. It's stuck on the crystal switch blocks there for just a moment. That's really easy to do, especially in this room with them so close together. We're not gonna actually see him try to. Okay, now we're gonna see him trying to manipulate the Gurias a little bit.
Where was Butter? Was it Hookshot Cave?
Yes, Butter was hiding out in the third chest of Hookshot Cave. Meanwhile, since still making their way up through the gauntlet, get to the difficult part. Gonna use the accidentally fell off, but now they're gonna be able to use the fell off again, but they're gonna be able to use the iframes there from when they recover to actually just dash straight through all of the cannonballs. It's a nice little strat, even if it's something unintentional.
Yeah. It's nice. You actually have to grab the wall and start moving at the same time. It's not just a case of grab a wall and start moving around.
Mm-hmm. But you don't have to be pushing a direction when you grab the wall. Yeah, I usually would just do the wall grab technique because I've kind of figured out it's a little more easy to manipulate them.
I mean, it's just a direction and the A button on the same frame, I believe. So
pretty much, yeah.
It's quite simple. I'm not sure if that's the exact value, but it's somewhere in that very, very close range.
Powder the anti-fairy there. That's very nice. Always good to see someone can do that. I can't. We're gonna see Synth is using those silvers, so arrow count's getting a little low. I guess switch to fire rod. That's probably the better choice. Less lag and it's a little easier to get those.
And while still being uncooperative.
Yeah, they're not quite lining up just right.
Unfortunately, you don't want to spend all your magic here because you still want some for the Cane of Samaria upstairs with Wiz Robes.
And you're gonna need some as well for the torch room.
Yeah.
So you don't get that full refill until you get past that.
So I'm guessing at this point Strizer's not available. He's in chat. Never mind. I'm blind.
Yeah. Yeah, Strizer's been chatting up in chat, so
Wow, how did I miss that for so long?
so Strizer, I guess if you wanna do the interview via chat, we could do that as well. Or if not, that's fine. It's not the law. Ooh, kind of got pushed off the edge there, so Synth is gonna have to take the conveyor belt up here.
Nice fast run though.
Yeah, it's definitely faster. You can jump. Okay. Yeah, Strizer. If you'd like to jump on in here, we can chat with you. I'm gonna see Synth go ahead and use the lamp instead, which is also nicely viable.
I prefer doing that room with the lamp myself. I sometimes find Fire Rod has a questionable hitbox, especially if you're too close to one of the torches.
It also uses up a little bit more magic than the lamp does, so if you're a little tight on magic going into there, you might want to have to save a little bit of magic, and the lamp will let you do that. The Synth has made it through pretty much the most difficult part of Gauntlet. Just has Moldorm 2 now left to go. I think he wants to check that chest.
Fortunately, the bubble being right there.
Yeah. Oh, and it's just the compass for GT. Getting that hook shot out nice and early, so you don't have to switch after you kill Moldorm again. Oh, nice.
That is
very nice. That is. I mean, that looks kind of easy sometimes to people. Like, oh, you just stand there and hold that sword out there, and it's nice and easy. It's not when Moldorm is trying to shove you straight off the edge.
welcome, Strizer.
Welcome, Strizer GG.
Thank you. Sorry, it took me a moment there. It seems like every time I try and enter a Discord voice channel, it just doesn't recognize my mic, and I have to go through a whole friggin' rigmarole.
It's all right.
Thanks for commenting, guys.
No worries.
Yeah,
but how about that run? A little bit of trolling there, especially at the beginning. What were you thinking at the beginning with all of the upgrades? That the validation arrow showing up early, the single rupees showing up, a lot of big 20s, not a whole lot of progression.
No, and to be honest, I felt just a little bit off from the start. I mean, I got the 2 bombs picked by the thief outside the village, and I was disappointed, and I had to farm Blind's house for rupees. And I don't know, after making that first round of the Dark World and opting to skip the Thieves Town and then doubling back and doing all of it, I kind of felt behind from that point on. I felt like I like you said, I wasn't finding any progression. I'm like, what am I missing here?
Of course, the big progression being in Turtle Rock of all places.
Yeah, Turtle Rock was a gold mine. There was flute in there. There were flippers. Other thing as well.
It was also really fortunate for you when you went up there, because you didn't go and take a look until after you had the fire rod, the ice rod, and all of that. So when you went in, you were actually able to complete the dungeon. Unfortunately for Synth, that's not the case. They went in without that and was not able to get the flute off of Trimax, so they actually had to double dip it just so they could get to Meyer.
Okay, yeah, that would definitely be a big impact. Yeah, nobody wants to double dip T-Rock. I was kind of just to not enter Swamp. The second I felt behind, I was like, okay, I'm going to resist the urge to enter Swamp at all costs, despite the fact that I know it's a big deposit of items. It's something I've been trying to do a little more regularly. I've been practicing over the last couple days just to try and kind of, in terms of routing, and feel comfortable taking more risks. So I left Zora for the longest time, and it really came back to bite me because I don't think I've ever gotten the bow so late in the seed.
I was gonna say, what were you feeling when you saw that bow up on Zora Ledge there that late in the race?
That was the nail in the coffin, to be honest. When I didn't see a couple key items for a long time, and I initially felt behind, and then I found the bow that late afterwards, and after full clearing ice, I was just like, oh my god, if I'm not gonna find it up at Zora, I'm gonna have to dive Swamp. That's gonna be my next best effort. But I felt like I was wandering and cherry picking locations for the longest time.
That is one advantage Synth had. When he did go up to Turtle Rock, he'd already checked Zora earlier from taking a trip up there. So he basically immediately went to the bow, which did bring him to Pod to pick up the Fire Rod and the book. Unfortunately, he did absolutely everything that was possible to avoid going back to Turtle Rock, despite it being completable, which isn't a bad decision. It's just unfortunately not the one that needed to be made, because you can't predict Trinex holding a flute when you've already found flippers in there.
No, and I mean, the other thing, me going so late to Pod as well, that was kind of the original reason I felt so far behind, because I found those key items in Pod, and I was like, man, I could have dug this a long time ago. And what I've started to do is be a little more oriented in just trying to go into dungeons that I can complete. That's my goal. I need to do them anyways. So I'm resisting the urge to, go overworld crazy. And it's like, okay, I see a dungeon I can complete. I want to go there. But at the same time, I start to neglect other areas that I may not be able to complete, like Pod, and it bites me for a little bit of time.
And we're just about to actually, I'm gonna pause the interview here for a moment, because Synth is about to finish up their run. They've just finished off Ganon, and we're just waiting on walk through that door. Indeed, Synth has finished with a time of 2 hours, 16 minutes, and 20 seconds. We'll see if we can get Synth in here as well.
Welcome, Synth.
Welcome, Synth. GG.
GG, welcome.
Oh, maybe setting up their mic right now.
That's Discord issues.
No, I saw the mic just flash for a brief second there, so.
Too, that was the other thing I noticed. Like I felt like I had the riot shield so early on, but it was still in green.
Yeah, we noticed that riot shield came pretty quickly. You guys both had it in Pod there. I think you picked up the first upgrade there for the shield in Tower of Hera.
Didn't actually go into Thieves at all?
Yes. Synth went in pretty quickly, actually.
Because I found the sword upgrade too, and that was kind of like, I'm wondering which of the sword upgrades he didn't end up putting his hands on. I'm trying to think of where the other ones were, to be honest.
Hookshot.
Hookshot Cave, yep.
Shot Cave. Okay.
Yeah, that fourth one that was in the third chest in Hookshot Cave. Yep. So yeah, we'll have Synth here in just a moment. Just sorting out some mic issues, it looks like. Discord, please.
For some reason, I just go into the settings and I switch it off my mic and switch it back on my mic, and magically that works. I don't know why.
Did you toggle it on and off? It's the That's often the answer to everything. Setting up their mic right now. So, as far as the dungeons that you did visit, was there any strategy behind that? Were you thinking, you know, I have a, as you're seeing items, you're thinking, okay, I need to go here, and this is where I want to go last, kind of deal, or were you just kind of following the path that the game put out for you?
We noticed that.
You know what? It's Skullwoods and Thieves have really kind of bit me in the butt a lot recently, and I hesitated to go into Skullwoods a little bit sooner, and when I dove into Thieves, my logic was, I'm going to pick one of these two right now. I'm not going to commit to them both, and Thieves has more and is generally a little bit more streamlined. I wasn't necessarily intending on completing the boss. If I found the last item, I honestly debated in the boss room and mirroring out at that point, just to avoid the fight. And if I needed to go back, then it was at least quick. But that was kind of my logic from the start. And yeah, other than that, it was just trying to complete earlier and try and be a little more comfortable with ignoring overworld spaces, although I got really panicked at the end.
Yeah, so Synth's having a little bit of an issue with their mic right now. They are talking a little bit in the chat, so I can kind of relay some of that. Saying that Skullwoods and the Thieves Town dips were a total waste of time, and they required Turtle Rock double dip too. So I guess Synth can hear me. Maybe we can get an answer in chat here. Were you trying to avoid making that dip back into Turtle Rock until the last possible moment? So just from a routing point, because that's the closest one to Ganon's Tower. Is that kind of the thought process there? Yeah, you didn't want to climb back up again. Yeah, I can't really blame you for that. I think if the flute hadn't been on Trinex, if it had been somewhere else, I think it probably would have been a good play.
Who it was that mentioned it? I was watching a race the other day, and they said, you know what, you only end up saving, I think it was like a minute and a half, ideally, in avoiding that climb. So I've tried to be less apprehensive about diving Turtle Rock, especially when I know I can do it. To kind of get out of that mentality of I need to finish T-Rock last, because it's not that big of a time save based on what I've been told.
Yeah, Synth was saying that the first time they went into TR, they couldn't finish it because they didn't have the fire rod, and they got key locked out because that last key was sitting on Laser Bridge there, as well as the half magic.
I'm trying to think, it's all kind of a blur at the point when I'm trying to think back. Where was fire rod again?
It was in a pod, dark maze, top left chest.
Kind of figured I had taken a little bit of a hit on time because I knew I could, dig that earlier, and I was like, wow, I could have had this a lot sooner.
I think any runner will feel like that a lot of the times. They'll be like, man, I could have had this sooner. Why didn't I do this before? It's one of those things where you're having a really good run and you're still thinking that in the back of your head. And yeah, Synth had that early Zora check and saw the bow up there, which did push them over to T-Rock early. It looks like you're mentioning in the chat. I think that's probably, all things considered, that probably is the right call. It was just a situation where I don't think that the knowledge was there that you had to go into pod first to get that fire rod to be able to do a full Turtle Rock clear.
Yep. I felt like Lamp was a little bit trolly too. Lamp was on the Grove. I felt like that was a little bit of a
Hammer Pegs, yeah.
Kind of a troll.
He's hiding out in Hammer Pegs, yeah. And actually, Synth's collection rate is actually lower than yours, Strizer. Synth had 154 and you had 163. So
I'm a collectionist at heart, I like to. I'm a completionist. I like to get all the stuff, but it just doesn't work. It doesn't serve me well in this version.
No, well, sometimes it pays off, and sometimes you get bit by it. That's all part of the gamble. And Synth was saying they had a really inefficient Ice Palace, and they died in Ice Palace, and did die to Trinex once there. So there were a couple deaths too that added a little bit of extra time to that, especially the Ice Palace death. I think added a little bit of extra time as well. Thankfully,
no good place to die in Ice Palace.
Yeah, you never want to die in Ice Palace. It's never fun walking back through that. And thankfully for Trinex at least, Synth had opened up the laser bridge door, so that was a lot shorter walk than having to go all the way back through. And Synth is saying they usually take the safety door in TR. I think that's always a good option if you can. If you're going out the laser bridge, you may as well take the safety door because it's going to be a lot less of a walk back.
Honestly, there's no reason to not take the safety door in T-Rock. I mean, in case the worst possible scenario happens, it's going to save you so much of a trek back, and for what, like 15, 20 seconds maybe?
Yep.
All right. Well, do you two have any questions or final comments?
Thanks again to everyone who put together the tournament. It's obviously a gigantic project. It's my first time participating in a Link to the Past event, so I was super excited to get on board. So yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks Synth. He was great in reaching out and making contact, and setting up a time and being very flexible. So thanks to you guys for commentating as well.
Thanks to you and Synth for running. Of course, we have a bunch of other people to thank as well. So first off, as we wrap this up, I'm going to say go ahead and follow our awesome runners here, Strizer and Lord of the Synth. And of course, we've got some lovely people that are helping to bring this to you as well. So go ahead and thank our tracker, which would be Flame Wolf. Thank you very much for tracking, my man. Thanks to Estolia for restreaming, and of course for commentary, thank you to Voidborn for being a great co-commentator. It was really fun to do this with you, man.
Yep. Thank you for joining me on this. It's a bit of a late one, and definitely GG to the two of you, and good luck in your future races.
Thanks a lot. Have a great night, everyone.
No problem. Thank you guys for being here. And I think we're going to go ahead and wrap that up. So, signing off, I'm Nihon Tiger, and I'm going to leave the last word here for Voidborn.
Not much else to say at this point, so definitely have a good night, everyone, and we'll see you next race.